Vinh á.
He's corny, likes to overuse jokes. He also loves to prance, pretty badly if I may add. But he also dazzles those select few that he chooses to make himself known to. Having Vinh as one of my close friends truly enriched my life a little bit more. His accomplishment as a student is only the tip of the iceberg. He is truly one of the greatest people I've ever met. Now please allow him to dazzle you guys himself. Please welcome our valedictorian, Vinh Pham.
Rất dễ sợ. Có mấy cậu không dễ sợ chứ. Giống mình đất rồi chứ ghê chứ.
Well, Tuvi is such a lovable person. Well, good evening, family, friends, and graduating class of 2014. I've never stood in front of a crowd this large before, but let me just say that this is pretty terrifying right now, but yet amazing. But before I commence my lengthy speech, I would like to personally thank our family, friends, teachers, and most importantly, ourselves for making this day possible. We wouldn't be here today if it were not for the efforts of our loving, caring families who feed us, highly qualified teachers who try to shove a year's worth of material into a single week, companion friends who make our days less lonely, and ourselves for not making too many completely idiotic mistakes. But it's astonishing to think how much we've changed and grown over the last 4 years. In fact, I've known some of you guys since kindergarten. We've grown together, becoming wiser, bolder, and more mature. When asked, how would you describe the class of 2014? I can't help but respond with, it is not in our weakest hour that limit us, but rather our strongest hour that define us. Needless to say, the last 4 years of our lives have changed us in more ways than we could have imagined. First walking through those front doors of high school, most of us weren't quite sure what to expect. Most of us thought that high school was just a middle school without any lines. Never would we have ever thought that within the next 4 years, we would be facing the most challenging experiences yet, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. High school, in and out of itself, was a life-changing experience that will stay with us forever. I think it's safe to say that for the most part, we've had a love-hate relationship with high school. We loved seeing our friends, but hated having to wake up every day before noon. Lunch was okay, but we loved the conversations. We admired our teachers, but staying up until 3 a.m. to finish an essay required a lot more than just a cup of coffee. Procrastination was always our worst enemy. But hey, that's a part of growing up. We learn from little mistakes like that. And often, it would require both dedication and passion, something that not all of us had, even me. So understand me when I say that throughout my entire life, the only thing that I've known how to do well was to make good grades. I struggled with everything else. I did not know how to express myself. I did not know how to dream. I did not know how to live. One day, I almost threw in the towel. Believe it or not, there was a time where I thought that the only thing that had existed in my life were hate suffering, tears, and failure. There was a time when I stopped caring. There was a time where I felt lost because I did not know my purpose. There was a time where the only thing that I wanted to do was to give up. I think at one point of time in our lives, we all faced a time like that, where we had to make a decision. That's why I feel that this quote is so important. It is not in our strongest hour that defines who we are, but rather our weakest. Because that's when it happened. Someone came to me and asked me if I had remembered. Remember what? I asked. Do you remember your dreams, Vinh, your dreams? If you want to be bold, then you must be willing to sacrifice everything you are to become bold. If you want to be successful, then you must be willing to be successful as much as you are willing to breathe. Then I remembered what I wanted to live and die for. I remembered what it felt like to have big dreams, ones that didn't seem impossible. One that required changing the world or becoming famous. I remember all of my friends that told me that I, and only I, could be the change that I wanted to see in the world. My math teachers that did everything they could to resist pulling out their hair out of frustration. My parents who sacrificed their entire lifestyle just so I could go to school. And it was because of this defining moment that made me get back up. This moment that I learned from, because it taught me to love, to forgive, and to grow. It was because of this defining moment that I'm able to stand before you all today, not as a follower, a scared boy, someone that was 5'5" with awkward hair, but as a proud 5'7.5" leader who's ready to dream again. If you take anything out of this speech with you from your journey, from here on out, I want it to be this. It is not in our strongest hour that defines who we are, but rather our weakest. So when the going gets tough, make it count. When you're feeling hopeless and despair, remember. So you ask me, how do I want to describe the class of 2014? We're dreamers. Don't even try to prove me wrong. So, to those of us still dreaming, remember to dream big. Because you have to dream big to live big. Class of 2014, it was a pleasure. Good luck. Not that you need it.